Hello, pozdravljeni, dober dan. It was an amazing week, crazy week. Bitcoin been hitting 30,000, trying to get through, didn't go. Now pushing again. There is BRICS, there is another bank failing. We got meme coins popping up. We got some altcoins doing very good. And we're gonna check it all together now. So let's first start with this chart, yeah? So as we can see, a lot of downfall from start of March until today, 95%, even more. So what is that? Which coin is that? It's not a coin, unfortunately, for economy, for our banking system. It's the stock of the First Republic Bank, and here we can see at the start of the year it was trading roughly at $125 and now went all the way to 3 something dollars, yeah. So we can see from the start of March until 20th, so end of March, the price of stock went down by 90%. Then this last week, the price of stock went down additional how much? 78, 80%. Why? Because a lot of people, a lot of clients took the deposits out. So around 100 billion deposits went out of the First Republic Bank. Now let's check something which is really interesting. So what we should take into account when talking about the collapse of First Republic Bank is the following. The bank borrowed 63.5 billion through the Fed discount window, 13.8 billion through Bank Term Funding Program, and $28 billion from the Federal Home Loan Bank. And even with that altogether, which accounts for more than $100 billion, bank still went under. And what is happening right now, the US regulators are talking about who is gonna save the bank, who is gonna take these bad assets, because they want to save it. They don't want to spread the panic through the markets. But it's not the first bank that went under. It was the Silicon Valley Bank, it was the Silvergate, now it's the First Republic Bank, meanwhile also the Credit Suisse Bank from Switzerland. So it's not the first bank, and the economy, it should be okay apparently, but they got $100 billion as a lending and still managed to go under. It might get messy in the following months. So until tomorrow, the regulators, they want to agree, and they most likely will agree, who will take over the bad assets, who will take over the First Republic Bank situation, because they want to salvage it at least partly, to calm the markets, because then the Asian markets open, and if this situation is not treated properly, it might cause even more panic, yeah? Okay, so price of Bitcoin right now, wow, it's 29,698, okay? If you take a look at the macro, what does the macro picture show us? Okay, we are still in the cloud, yeah? So, okay, we are still in the cloud. We have to take into account that when the price of some asset is in the cloud, we can expect volatility, okay? It doesn't mean it's gonna go straight up. It doesn't mean it's gonna fall down. Even though we reach 30,000 in the next 2, 3, 5 weeks, the price can come to 24,000 or even lower, yeah? So the resistance here is pretty clear, yeah? 30,000, 30,500 was the very hard rejection. So if the price of Bitcoin pushes through 30,000 in the following days, what can happen? So we can see these spikes here, yeah? We can see these swigs going up. So it means that there is some room for the price to be pushed higher, yeah? So 32,000, even more, even 35,000 is not off the table until the bulls are still in the room, okay? But we have to be careful. It's a very volatile zone. It's been a lot of upward momentum, so we have to be careful and we have to take into account that sooner or later the price will dip. So we can see that Bitcoin is currently pushing through the trend line, yeah, this trend line, the trend line that has been forming since the end of January. So what can we expect here? So what we can see from the picture here. When looking at the price, we can see that Bitcoin pushed and got rejected. Then pushed again, the price went a little higher and got rejected. Now it looks like it's trying to push again. Maybe it's gonna do something like this and down. It can also push higher, retest and go higher. But we have to take into account that this week on Wednesday there is another meeting from the regulators because they will most likely hike the interest rate up, which is not the most bullish case for all the assets, because with the interest rates going up, the money is getting more expensive and we want cheaper money if we want to see some increase in prices. Yeah, what it can also do is maybe check this region where the Bitcoin was denied before, maybe go up here, reject it again down, because a lot of people are gonna step in once the Bitcoin goes through the 30,000, because it's very psychological level as well. Yeah, it's a round number, it's 30,000, it sounds a lot, and people know that if it goes through 30,000, it was already at 60,000, so why not go higher? Yeah, and here is where we have to be careful. This trend line, we shouldn't ignore it because it's been forming for a long time. It may help us, it might guide us a little. Then if we combine the price with the relative strength index, maybe we can come up with a longer story, a more in-depth story. Eh? What Bitcoin likes to do is move in threes. So one move, second move, third move, and then maybe a change of trend, or at least a dip. It's possible. It happened before and we shouldn't ignore it. When you combine price with relative strength index, and if we combine price and relative strength index, that can give us more sense, more probability of the next move. It can prepare us. So let's check. We had one push on the price and denied, and also the same happened in relative strength index. We had another push on the price, also on the relative strength index. Now the Bitcoin is pushing again. Where the price is gonna take us, it remains to be seen. We're gonna see it in a few days. And also relative strength index. I would expect, depending on the previous moves, that something like this happens, which could mean, if we take a trend line, could mean that the strength is getting weaker, the bulls are getting tired, and that maybe a reversal is in play, or at least a dip. Don't forget, May is here. There is a saying in markets, sell in May and run away. It might be different this time, we don't know, but we shouldn't ignore it depending on the previous movement in the markets, not just Bitcoin, in general. Okay, so bigger picture, it looks really nice. And also on the other hand, you can see there are clear levels. Yeah, one level would be that. So if we take a look at the monthly picture, which is this one, and take a look in the past, what happened in the region that we are in right now, we're gonna notice that exactly at this level, the price bounced in the June-July 2021, because it was coming down. That was a clear support resistance zone, and it bounced up and went for another high. But now the story is different. Yeah, we came from the bottom, went up. This is the same level, so this is the support resistance area that we have to come over, but it doesn't mean that it will happen right now. Also, if we take a look at the Ichimoku, what it shows us. Wow, so on the monthly picture we can see that this candle went over the Tenkan level. So we can see on the monthly picture how nicely this whole candle went over the Tenkan level. Yeah, this is the Tenkan, the blue line, which means there is some nice support right there. But that Tenkan level, it's on roughly $23,000, yeah? Also, we shouldn't ignore that on monthly level, another cloud starts. It's a green cloud, which is nice. Also on the monthly picture, what we can notice, there is a green cloud for Bitcoin, which is very nice once we are in it. At the moment, we are not yet. At the moment, we are on the bottom of it, and this is, at the moment, we are on the bottom of it. And until this is broken, for us, it's a resistance. So I wouldn't rush. Also, this monthly candle, it's not so strong. It may indicate a trend reversal. So, all that taken into account, at these prices where we are at right now, it's very risky to go into longer positions. Okay, spot buying Bitcoins for a long time. So as mentioned, if the price pushes through the resistance, we can see 32,000 and next 35,000. But we shouldn't rush. There is a big resistance ahead of us. We are still in the red cloud, and I would prepare for some dips in the coming months, in the coming weeks. So dips in the coming weeks, maybe. And if we take a look where the price can go, well, the weekly is pretty clear. Tenkan level is on 25,000, so there is definitely a region we can stop. And then Kijun, it's 23,000. So that's for now. Also the bottom of the cloud, all that. If the market changes, if the sentiment is not so bullish anymore, which it can, we can see also the weekly RSI is dropping. Yeah, we had a top here at 62, another top here at 69. Now we're gonna see how this week's relative strength index ends, but it's definitely lower, yeah, than the previous ones. Yeah, so it can go lower also. We can move this to the bottom of the daily candle, which is around 23,000, which is which is totally possible. It sounds a lot now, yeah, because we are at but if it drops, it's 20%, which sounds a lot, but Bitcoin had many 10-15% drops in a day in the past, and I believe we can, or we should prepare for that, because this rally has been going on for a long time now. Yeah, from start of the year until now. That's 120 days. 120 days of trend going up. Sooner or later there will be a correction. Okay, and a little intermezzo. On today's day, 30th of April 1962, so quite some years ago, yeah, this amazing plane, A12, which is the same, let's say, plane as the Blackbird, similar, not totally the same, because this one was used for the reconnaissance missions and still holds the record for the highest altitude of any airplane flying and the fastest. It was a maiden flight, and this is the original footage from the maiden flight. It's really awesome, huh? Come on, look at it. Wow. And we can go back. Okay, another thing that we should be cautious about is the Ethereum unstaking, because there are roughly 500,000 bit more validators at the moment, and a few weeks ago roughly 5% of these validators are choosing to withdraw their Ether. Days, weeks, if the price goes down because of the fear, we might see more of these kinds of tweets. So big batches of Ethereum sent to centralized exchanges to sell them to either USDT or USD to hedge the money and to buy lower. We've seen quite a few of those tweets in the last few days. So one is 3 hours ago on April 28. We also see another tweet. So there is this whale alert, which is a bot that sends automatic responses because it's on-chain data, either USDT or the cryptocurrency. You can see it here. So it's whale alert. It's worth checking up. And now let's take a look at some meme coins on decentralized exchanges. What happened in the last few weeks? It's been crazy. One of the bigger gainers was Pipcoin, so Pepe. We can see that price went up by 1,000,000% in 5 days. There were some articles of people who invested as little as a few $100 and made millions. Here, for example, we can see somebody buying 1 Ether worth of Pepe just 2 weeks ago and now selling it for 900 Ether. That's 900x. So this is Pepe, and Pepe has been in the crypto Twitter for a long time now. If some of you caught it, congratulations, I totally missed it. And yeah, it's great to see people gaining these big gains with it. So 2 hours ago it reached $320 million market cap, and few weeks ago you can see it on Twitter, people were saying, it's 1 million now, it's 5 million. And if we take a look at the chart, it's just crazy. So the coin came out at 14th of April. Today is 30th of April. So 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, from $100 to $200 to more than 1 million now. Okay, so here we can check the holders by positions and their value in Pepe coins. Okay, so we can see first is the Pepe wallet, then is the centralized exchange MEXC, then is Huobi, Gate, and in between there is some guy with $3 million worth of Pepe coins and $3 million also the next one, and we can see quite some people with 1 million or more worth of Pepe coins. So guys were early, they stacked, they believe in the meme, they believe in the community, and yeah, that's what can happen in crypto sometimes. It's very similar to sheep or to Doge. It's crazy. But it wasn't the only one. There's also Voyak. This one also overnight it did like 100x, and now we can see. So if you invested $100, that would be 10,000 euros. Sorry, $10,000. And it's time for the second Intermezzo. Starship, the biggest rocket, was launched on the 20th of April. Amazing, guys.
As the velocity increases, the density, we should have had separation by now. Obviously, this does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
And then the things got crazy, because in one day somebody made a coin called Biden. It was a pump and dump, so if you came in early and you sold, but it had very low liquidity, so you couldn't really gamble with a lot. You can see the spike, yeah. It made 10,000% And the same day somebody made a Putin coin, which was also a pump and dump. And then after Putin somebody made Obama. And after Putin somebody made Obama coin. And we can see many of these meme coins. It's a lot of shit coins. It's a lot of pump and dump. But yeah, it's there. It's Wild West. A lot is happening. So be careful. And if you catch something, enjoy. Okay, and something interesting popped up in US. There is a nuclear powered Bitcoin mining plant, which is now operational. So interesting what is happening. Yeah, energy prices are going up. Electricity prices are still high, and yet they decide to mine Bitcoin with nuclear power. Yeah, and another interesting thing, why is the European Central Bank showing us Bitcoin logo on their headquarter building? What are you trying to tell us? Is it time to buy? So when it's 200,000, you can say, we showed you. So that is picture with Bitcoin logo on European Central Bank at the end of March. Crazy. How can it happen that somebody steals $100 million worth of gold on the airport? So as it's stated on the Watcher Guru, which is an amazing site, follow it if you like fresh news from the economy department, from the especially crypto related and investment related articles. Amazing site. So according to the police in Canada, the gold was stolen from the airport just outside Toronto. How? A lot of interesting, weird things are happening at once, and the year is just 40% true. Also, there is a Bitcoin address that has been dormant, sleeping for more than 10 years, and now it moved 279 Bitcoins, which is roughly, so 279, it's roughly $8 million, yeah, which is a great for somebody that bought it 10 years ago. Amazing. Okay, now one very important thing that is happening right now in the terms of macroeconomics. We got BRICS, which is a term for the global south. So Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are coming together. They want to bypass the dollar. They want to make their own currency. They're settling already quite some trades, especially the trades in petroleum and gas and other energens. So we can already see it happening, how they are ditching the dollar and they are using some other currencies like Chinese yuan for settling the trades, which is weakening the dollar. And so it's an alternative model to the G7, which was founded by Germany, France, UK, Japan, Italy in 1975, yeah? So it was on the start of April already, China and Brazil already trading with their currencies. China and France use Chinese yuan for the first time for the gas trade. So we can see more countries joining, yeah? One of the latest were Bangladesh, United Arab Emirates, and Egypt. And here is also one of the first but very important steps in positioning BRICS as a major player in the economy. Yeah? So New Development Bank now offers loans in local currencies instead of US dollar, which means somebody is paying or is buying debt in other currency than dollar. This year has already been crazy, and who knows what's gonna happen in the following months and until end of the year. We have to check the markets, we have to see what's going on, because daily there are changes. For example, if we check the explore button on Twitter, yeah, which shows you trends, you can see Pepe. Pepe is trending. So a lot of people that are not even in the cryptocurrencies are hearing of Pepe and AI Doge. What is AI Doge? People know Ripple, people know Bitcoin, people know Ethereum, maybe some of them know Solana, Arbitrum, Tezos, the big coins. And now but when people press the explore button of 5 the trends, they see Pepe and they see AI Doge. Yeah, it's crazy and it's amazing. So please, if you like the video, if you like some ideas, please subscribe. Let's share the community, let's share the vibes. We should say something about the markets. There are quite some tips which are very useful. For example, when the market was here, when we zoom into these levels, we see it wasn't so nice to be in. You don't see what's on the right side of this, yeah? You don't see what's gonna happen here. Because on this day, the price was $16,000 for a Bitcoin. But what does Warren Buffett say? Buy when there is blood in the streets. Meaning, when everybody is selling, when they are saying it's the end, it's gonna finish, whether it's Bitcoin, Amazon, some other stock. If you know the fundamentals, if you know the story behind the project, if you know the people, if you know their project, if you know their plan, what are they planning in the future, how many people they have, the price is not going to affect your judgment. If it's lower, we should buy because we know what we are investing in. And this was a clear example of buy the blood because the prices are low, and then we zoom out and we can see the reward. Yeah. Also, what's happening now? We are at the resistance. A lot of people are jumping in. What can we expect? The same as they say buy when there is blood in the street, sell when everybody is talking about it. It's not so loud yet, but you can see people saying, yeah, price is going higher. The bulls are back. Of course it can go higher, but at the moment I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't build long positions right now. Okay, when we are over 30,000 and if there is a retest, maybe I go in the long then. But at the moment, I would stay flat in dollars. Let's see what happens, because today the weekly candle is finishing, the monthly candle is finishing, and then one day, 2 days later, we can decide easier what's the better step for us. Also, if the price starts dipping, we can see something like that. The price can go back to 20,000 or even lower. We don't know, because a lot of it depends on the sentiment. Now the sentiment has been very good, and when the price will go down, if it goes, because they want to secure the profits, and let's just keep that in mind. Okay, and today is 30th of April. It's the last day of April. I wish you a nice day. If you're listening to this on the 1st of May, I wish you a nice Labor Day. Wish you all the best. Help somebody, smile at somebody, and let's make this world a nice place. Ciao. So Bitcoin tried to push this resistance that we broken today. 2 days ago already, we can see him trying to push here and here and here and here, and every time it was denied, yeah, because that was the resistance. And what happened later, it's really interesting from the psychological perspective, yeah, because every candle, as we mentioned, is just, people trading behind in the certain time frame, yeah. The candle that is really amazing is that one. Let's take a look at it, yeah. I mean, isn't it beautiful, yeah? We can see the opening on the candle was at this level, yeah? The closing of the candle was at this level. What happened meanwhile, it's really interesting. So as we mentioned, price was rejected at this area, this area, this area. And what followed? We can also see the RSI dropping probably. When the Bitcoin tried to push here, the RSI was at that level, yeah? When it tried to push here, RSI was at this level, yeah? When it tried to push here, RSI was even lower, yeah? So you can see RSI was here at 65, and on top it was 77, which means RSI was losing power, which is an indication of some bearish movement in the near future, yeah? in this case, on 1 hour time frame, this is going to happen very soon, usually. Yeah. So in this hour of trading, yeah, the bears really push the price down to the previous resistance, which now acts as a support. But the price had to be tested in this case. It was successfully retested, and it really looks like an angel candle, right? I mean, just look at it. Such a small body, yeah? The bears pushing down the price. And then in the same hour, the bulls fight back. Yeah, they come up and they push the price. And the closing of the candle was amazing, which turned it to the bullish sentiment again. We could say this is a hammer, but it's not totally a hammer. It just had a little bit of a shadow on top of it, yeah. But when we see the volume, you can really feel the bulls behind, yeah, the people pushing, because they want the Bitcoin to push higher, yeah. And that's why the candles represent the psychology of the people in this certain time frame, yeah. Bears were trying to push down the price, bulls defended and bounced right up through the resistance again, which was here, yeah. And then what continued later, okay, it was a little more of retesting here and here, but as we see, we got a nice green cloud, and as we mentioned before, green cloud means a nice support here. We can see on the hourly candle, Bitcoin just, nicely hovering on the upper part of the cloud, regaining the Tenkan and Kijun level. So Kijun level, the red line, the Tenkan blue line. And if we go to a bigger time frame, 4-hour time frame, what was happening? Wow, this is even more amazing when you think of it. And on the 4-hour time frame, the price has been above or touching the Tenkan level all the time since 15th of March, yeah. So for 4 days now, yeah. So here we can see Bitcoin just hovering above or touching the Tenkan level with the 4-hour candles, which is very, very bullish. Okay, what we can say about Bitcoin on the bigger time frames. Let's use a tool Fibonacci once more. What's going on right now? We can see the weekly. So this is the weekly picture, yeah. We can see the price pushing to the cloud, which means when the cloud is on top, it's red. And when it's red, it gives a pressure to the asset. So it works kinda two ways. In a way, the cloud, it pulls the asset, yeah, but also it pushes him down. So similar as when the cloud is on the bottom, when it's green, it acts as a support, yeah, because the asset will go sooner or later to that support. So kind of pulls him down, but also pushes him up, yeah. So here we can see the price of Bitcoin really pushing through the cloud, which can mean very turbulent circumstances. And also combined with the first resistance on the Fibonacci, we can expect either price stopping here or pushing through, maybe complete the candle above it, because here we see this fix from before. So it's possible that Bitcoin checks these levels, yeah. We will see how much power is there left. It's messy, yeah? People are really pulling money out of the banks. Companies are scared, so of course it will reflect on the other assets as well, especially Bitcoin, which is very volatile, yeah. So that's on the weekly. On the daily chart, we can see a very nice pattern forming. Let's check on that. So what we can see here, yeah. Here it was trading like that. Then the price pushed. Here it was a resistance, got pushed down, tried again, resistance, went all the way down to that bottom trend line, yeah, and now pushing again. And it pushed through. And what we are looking at right here, this is a bullish pattern. It's called broadening wedge. With this pattern, we see, price coming from below, pushing through, coming down again, trying to push through. It cannot because it's a resistance forming, coming lower. And that's exactly what's happening in our case, yeah. So the banks took approximately $152 billion from discount window lending, which is the program that has been going on for years now, and additional almost $12 billion just from the new program that has been established, and additional $140 billion for the bridge banks that is going to take care of the Silicon Valley Bank depositors and the Signature Valley Bank depositors. And if we think about it, yeah, and put the things into the perspective, in the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008, the Fed have appointed approximately $700 billion to the dying banks. So $700 billion was there for the banks to save their bad investments, to save their mortgage-backed securities, which is kind of ironic because the same thing happened with Silicon Valley last week. Now the banks have gotten around $300 billion just previous week, when the economy is okay, when there is no recession, when everything is fine. And in 2008, in the middle of the recession, the Fed, had to step in and save the banks with $700 billion. And we are not counting. So here we can see a record levels of stablecoins being traded on the decentralized exchanges, because the USDC was questionable what's going to happen. Since Circle, which is the parent company that is issuing the USDC as the stablecoin, because for every token as the USDC, you need to have another dollar which backs this token on the other side. Yeah. So Circle had $3.3 billion approximately in the Silicon Valley Bank. And of course, investors got scared and they started to sell the USDC for the USDT. And when you have many sellers and not so many buyers, you can see the volume dropping. You can see the price dropping, even with the stablecoin. You could see the prices of this USDC trading at very low levels, even 12 or 15 cents on Bitstamp, I believe. And for a day or 2 days, it was trading from 85 to 95 cents. But now this has been solved. USDC has repacked, and we'll see what happens next. Maybe some regulation comes into the whole stablecoins situation, because now the regulators have another argument why to do it. Yeah. Okay, so a very important thing when we are defining a trend is that we use moving averages. Yeah. So if we want to see a bigger picture, we use a bigger time frame, and we use EMA 50 or 55, EMA 100, and EMA 200. And what happened? We had a golden cross. So we got the white EMA, which is our EMA 55, and we got the purple EMA, which is EMA 200. So it's a daily time frame, and we can count on it as a good source of information for the future prices. Yeah. So we can see golden cross happening here on 18th of February. So already a bullish sentiment. Okay, now let's check some altcoins and their charts. Starting with Hathor. Hathor Network is one of my favorites from the previous season, and I still believe in them. The team is working hard on their progress. You can see there is a community building. You can see there is a lot of interest in that coin. Just if you take a look at the mining, for example, the mining power has been going up. Yeah, it's a really small cap at the moment with $24 million. It's a very small market cap, considering it's a layer 1 kind of a project, which means that is like Ethereum. It's made that the dApps can be built on it. Looks really bottomed. Yeah, from the trading perspective, this is a very good opportunity to buy. If we check at the RSI, you can see momentum forming. You can see that, okay, here it was dropping. Yeah, every few months the strength was lower. Yeah, and now, so December was at the lowest point when we look at the relative strength index. Yeah, when we check this here in February, we can see it higher. And from that, we can see a nice pattern also. It's on the monthly time frame, meaning that probably it will come to fruition in the following months. But for investor, this is a very good opportunity to buy because the price has been suppressed, markets have been shit, Bitcoin has been going down, but the progress of this project has been going up. So that's what you want to find as an investor, to find these little gems that will bring you 5, 10x, maybe even more. Okay, so from where we are now, approximately to the first bigger resistance, it's 400%. According to the Fibonacci, that means when the Bitcoin stabilizes, when Ethereum picks up and the bigger market cap coins, because that's how it usually works in crypto. First, the Bitcoin pushes, yeah, it shows the strength. Then the bigger caps like Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin Cash, all these first 15, 20 market cap coins, then the profits made from these bigger ones, because they are less risky. That's why people go into them and people know them, yeah. Then the profits are taken and put into the medium and then into the smaller caps. And that's how the cycle rotates. And here you can see the first bigger resistances, because on the weekly time frames it got denied, yeah. So here it got denied, and here it got denied, and here it got denied. And so that would be the first bigger resistance, yeah. Okay, the next altcoin would be Aliens Block Nexera. Many people are talking about it. Twitter is very loud about it. I did some digging and yeah, apparently it's a very solid project with great partnerships. Actually, you got Amazon Web Services, Quant being amazing project on its own. It's a big finance project. Yeah, we're going to talk about it as well, but it's bigger already. Wow, and looking at the chart of Nexera, you can really feel that the bull season is coming, or at least that the people are eager to buy. People want to invest. People want to see the profits. And here you can definitely see, this is a daily chart. You can see volume, every day, big volume coming in, and the price is going up like crazy. And at the moment, this is a project with a total market cap, meaning when all tokens of this project are released, it's going to be around $87 million. I'm not sure about the actual market cap because I didn't find the right data about the current circulating supply of the tokens, yeah. So we gotta stick with the total market cap, which is $87 million. If the project is gonna deliver, if the developers are gonna do what they came to do, and the partnerships are really solid, then we can see this on trading, I would say 50 cents, maybe even $1, because it's a psychological barrier, yeah. So we got a 5x or even 10x there if the market conditions are right, yeah. Okay, then we have another project. It's called Nakamoto Games. We can see it has a current market cap of $19 million. So it's very low and it's a gaming coin. They incubate games and they support this gaming world in the Web3 infrastructure. Yeah. Okay, so here we can see the page of Nakamoto Games on Twitter. Apparently they are pretty active. And as the project itself, it's also interesting because it's built on Matic. Matic being very used even on the NFT marketplaces like OpenSea. You can see trading many collections based on the Matic, yeah, on Polygon, because of the very low trading fees. And then you can see Nakamoto Games utilizing Polygon low energy costs of transactions and scalability. We can really see this project flying high. But let's check from the charting perspective where we are and where we might be. So on the daily chart, yeah, it looks nice. We are in the green region of Ichimoku cloud, which is beautiful. So it has been accumulating for some time in this region. And it looks like a nice bullish flag, or at least a channel, if not a flag. Yeah, so from the start of the year until February, it has gone up 400%. It's a lot, but according to the structure, it looks like it has more power. So let's see what can happen here. Wow, just look at that volume. This is a weekly time frame, and you can see this volume, and you compare it to, for example, this fall here, yeah? So they've sold quite some coins on this downfall, but over here, all this has been bought up. Wow, and here we can see a nice pattern. This is the cup and handle pattern, and it's a very bullish pattern, which indicates a bullish movement in the near future, yeah? Yeah, so definitely Nakamoto Games, it's one of the favorites for the upcoming season. Also, if you just take into account where the price was a year ago, so if the Bitcoin remains strong, yeah, and the alt season comes in the following weeks, we can see this one trading very high. Maybe not 17x, but to get to this region, which is definitely a resistance, as we can see it here, we are talking approximately about 800%. Okay, and let's check one more. It's called OP, Optimism. Optimism. Who wouldn't want a coin like that, yeah? And it's interesting that this coin is trading at these levels because we actually got it airdropped for the users of Ethereum blockchain. And now people are seeing it as a really good project. And here we can see that it broke the resistance. So that was the resistance, yeah. And here it totally went over it. The volume is confirming it. And if we check the social activity, Twitter, their post, developments being made on this project, it's amazing. Maybe we will talk about it into more deeply later, but for now, what we can see, it's a very good chart. It's promising, and we shouldn't forget about it. And it has been 2 years since they launched the mainnet, and it's one of the most active blockchains out there. At the moment, it's trading at $265 million, which sounds a lot, but considering it only has 6,800,000 tokens in supply, with a total supply of 27 million, which is great because people like these coins with a low circulation supply token, yeah? And the other great thing about Chia is that you can really farm it. I mean, that you can be a miner with a very low cost, with a very low investment. Because Chia uses proof of time and space consensus, you can use your hard drive to actually mine this coin. And that's why this coin has been one of the most active in the terms of how many nodes are there, how many nodes are actually contributing to the blockchain, so the blockchain can exist. And the last numbers show that this number has been north of 100,000 nodes. Imagine 100,000 nodes. That's the idea of decentralization, yeah. And Chia, it's a very good way to prove that it's possible because the community is growing. You can see many articles published by the people, by the fans, maybe because the idea of decentralization is finally, coming to something tangible. Let's check what the chart has to show us, yeah. Okay, so here it was total downfall. Now we can see the accumulation going on. We are still under the price of the range, which is a great opportunity to buy. Yeah? Here we can see it trying to go out in July last year, so to push that price up, and it didn't break $50. And now it tried again in January. It didn't break, but let's see what the next weeks and months will bring, because this is a very active blockchain. The community is strong, the developers are acting on it, and we can also see the volume is going higher, yeah? The volume is rising. So first resistances would be at $100 something, and if we check it a little higher, yeah, we got a cloud as well, but until here, 125, so that's what, 2x from now, but just to reach the previous high, which is $270 somewhere, yeah? That is roughly 500–600% from here. Yeah, if we check the monthly time frame, it looks bad. Okay, a lot of selling pressure, but it was bear market, yeah. But in bear markets, there is where we find the gems, yeah. There we can see which project is really delivering. Is the team still sticking around, or are they running away with their money? They did an ICO or whatever. In this project, that wasn't the case. So we can see this one going to that price to $100 when the conditions are right, and hopefully to previous heights, which is another 150%. Yeah.